Hi, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of the Skull Cole Show. I am your host, Cole Smith. Last week, I said that there'd be a bit of a rebrand, possibly. I think we were calling it the Cole Smith Show last week, which is pretty original. So change it up to something a little bit more Viking centric. Just gonna kind of keep uh, seeing how this goes, see how I feel about things as episodes drop, videos are released, and everything. Um, I know a lot about the Vikings, don't have a whole heck of a lot of experience in podcasting and video stuff. So we'll just keep working on that stuff. We'll just have to hope that my Vikings knowledge and opinions do the heavy hitting and heavy lifting. So with that said, thanks to everybody who watched last week. I was pretty surprised by how many people watched. I mean, it's not threatening any of the big shows, obviously. Wasn't expecting that, but it was more than I was expecting. So people who subscribed, people who just clicked, if you're new here, welcome. Just kind of finishing up the end of the off season here with some more lists because it is a slow time of the year. There's some things here or there that are kind of being released as far as news goes, but for the most part, with camps not open just yet, we have a lot of top 10 lists, and ESPN's been going through position groups, and that's been sparking some debate in the social media world for Vikings fans. So I was going to go through a couple of those today. Might not go through every single position and possible snub or ranking because I think most of them are pretty self-explanatory, but I think a couple of them deserve to be touched on a little bit with low ratings. So ESPN asked executives and scouts and coaches around the league to rank their top 10 players at each position. They started running back, went to edge rusher, safety, tight end, interior line, and offensive line tackles. And today I think they did quarterbacks. So as you can imagine, Vikings didn't make it the quarterbacks list because JJ McCarthy's going to his first season starting. For who is curious, Sam Darnold didn't receive any votes on it. Not very surprising, but Bo Nix made it, so I guess maybe there were some surprises there. He was received votes. He wasn't top 10 on that, but uh, first Viking inclusion on these lists was at running back Aaron Jones. He made it as an honorable mention. They liked his style, kind of his slasher style and everything. I don't have much of a problem with him being an honorable mention here. Jones is 30, and he did add a lot of versatility to the Vikings, both in the run and pass game. Did everything really well. I can't say there's anything on the field that he did that just was like Dalvin Cook-esque, obviously not Adrian Peterson-esque. We did everything really, really well. And honestly, that's really what the Vikings need in a Kevin O'Connell pass first system. Somebody who can be a threat and reliable whenever he's on the field in any task that he's done, more than just handling the football. So, not going to touch too much on that one. It'd be cool if Jordan Mason were somehow to make this list next year because that'd mean that the running game really took off. But obviously, he wasn't on this list as he's been a backup in San Francisco for a while. Harrison Smith received some votes at safety. He wasn't an honorable mention. He's older. He's 36. He's on obviously, he's probably in his last season. So I don't have any qualms about that. Notably, Josh Metellus didn't receive any votes. Cam Bynum didn't receive any votes after leaving for Indianapolis. Um, Obviously, Theo Jackson didn't receive any. Um, Three NFC North safeties did make the list. Brian Branch was second on the list. Uh, Kirby Joseph was fifth. You can talk about that all you want. And Xavier McKinney from Green Bay was third. And Kyle Hamilton was first. I don't know if you heard, but Vikings could have had him instead of Lewis Cine in the 2022 draft. TJ Hawkinson was seventh at tight end. There's some not like major concerns, but uh, just him coming off the injury last year, didn't play a full season, kind of, his production was fine, but it wasn't pre-injury production, which isn't too surprising. Um, it was a major injury, he tore his ACL, and then he comes in with a new quarterback and Sam Darnold, who had developed chemistry with other players on the field, not necessarily Hawkinson. Hawkinson didn't reach the end zone till the playoff game, but I don't. I think that he'll be a bigger part of the offense his second year back from the injury. Being a tight end, kind of be that safety blanket for JJ McCarthy. Sam Darnold had opportunities to get Hawkinson more involved in some games. I thought, especially that Week 18 game at Detroit, the first drive. Darnold airmailed a pass down the seam to Hawkinson that could have kept a drive going. It was first or second drive, but there were several times where Hawkinson was getting open. That's still just one game, but I'm pretty confident he'll be able to come back. And he's also not the central piece of the offense too. You got Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison on the outside, so. Um, Ryan Kelly was the only interior lineman on the offense to receive any votes. We'll see what Will Fries does coming back from injury, and obviously it'd be great if Donovan Jackson could garner any recognition on a list like this next year. That'd mean that his first season, his rookie season, is just outstanding, and that the sky looks bright for him. Future looks bright. So Ryan Kelly was the only one there. At offense tackle, both Vikings showed up there. Brian O'Neill received votes, and then Christian Darrisaw came in at nine. A lot like Hawkinson. Of course, he's kind of in the middle of coming back from his injury, but the main concern with Darrisaw is his injury that he sustained last year against the Rams on Thursday Night Football back in October. We did see him participating in some drills in OTAs and mini camps. So that's a good sign. I don't think that we should be expecting to see him week one, but it's really hard to tell because those weren't full contact drills in OTAs and minicamp. We'll see how much they give him during camp and whether they want to rush him back. I mean, they're not going to rush him back from an ACL, but if he's capable of coming back from an ACL injury, uh, great. And he's a fantastic athlete, and everybody was super thrilled with what he's done, especially the past two seasons. He was really coming on last year before that injury. So I think that we can see him rise up a list like this if we can finally get a full 17 game season out of him. He hasn't played a full 17 game season yet. It's looking unlikely this year just because he's rehabbing from the ACL injury, but hopefully when he gets back, we're able to see him stay in the lineup and provide that blindside protection for JJ McCarthy. So, um, the upcoming positions still for the ESPN list are off-ball linebackers, receivers, and cornerbacks. I don't know if we'll see Blake Cashman make the off-ball linebackers list. He was a fantastic addition last year, but I think that off-ball linebacker, it's just such a hard position for, I think, fans and people to really analyze correctly. They don't normally get the sack numbers, interception numbers, like they get interceptions, but it's a lot tougher to get, I think, the recognition there than other positions like edge rushers, their sacks. cornerbacks, there's interceptions, stuff like that. So we'll see if Cashman gets it. I thought that he was a complete game changer every time he was in the lineup last year. So he deserves to at least be an honorable mention in my opinion. But then again, I'm not looking super hard at every other team's off-ball linebackers. But so we'll see there. At wide receiver, Justin Jefferson should be one. I have a feeling that he's going to be second to Jamar Chase, even though he averaged more yards per route run last year than Chase. Um, that's really nothing against Chase. I think Jefferson's just a superior player. I mean, it's 1-2. It's really not even disrespectful to put Jefferson to. Just as a fan, and whenever I look at the down to down, pass to pass metrics, Jefferson comes out ahead. Even for their careers, Jefferson's all time leader in receiving yards per game, 96 and a half yards per game. That's nine more than any other receiver in the history of the league. And number two is Jamar Chase. So I think Jefferson holds a torch there, but we'll see. If he's number two, whatever. If he's number three, then there's an issue, but he should be at least two. Cornerbacks will be the final group. We'll see if Byron Murphy makes it after he intercepted six passes last year. I think he'd be. We'll see if he makes it. I mean, he did get voted to the Pro Bowl, so he should at least be an honorable mention. I think some people might look at the pure yardage output that the Vikings allowed last year in the passing game, 28th, and maybe hold that against guys in the secondary. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I think Murphy can really make a name for himself if he's able to repeat his play from last year. And if the passing defense just statistically, box score wise, looks better. I know that doesn't really matter in this day and age. I think that stuff can kind of get a little overblown, but I think for stuff like this, it gets blown up. So the one I really want to talk about is edge rusher, though. Jonathan Grenard was an honorable mention, even though he had the third most pressures in the league last year with 80. He did that even though he dropped into coverage 88 times. That's the ninth highest among all edge rushers last year. I think that kind of like I was just saying, people look at just pure pass rushing numbers and they just look at sacks when judging edge rushers. And Grenard got the pressures. He also got sacks. He had 12. But he also dropped into coverage. He wasn't always asked to just pin his ears back and go after the quarterback like other players on the list. Even sometimes when he was rushing the passer, he was more being asked to just kind of keep eyes on the quarterback. Like that game against the Cardinals, he's kind of keeping his eyes on Kyler Murray, kind of making sure that Murray's not escaping the pocket and scrambling. So he's like rushing the passer, but he's kind of not, kind of being like a spy. Um, Andrew and Ginkle didn't receive any votes, which is ludicrous. Even as a pure pass rusher, he might not have had the total pressures that Grenard did, but he had 11 and a half sacks. He dropped into coverage more than any other edge rusher in the league. He had 204 coverage snaps. He does it all. Um, he was second team all pro last year too. So I think that was really the one that I had an issue with. I think that Grenard and Van Ginkel provide a really strong edge duo for the Vikings, and we'll see what Dallas Turner can do in a rotational role, or even if he's able to get on the field, what that looks like to get all three of those guys on the field at the same time. Um, I don't know if it's because Van Ginkel's just been in the league for a while and he's not just like an up and comer. Like Will Anderson was above him, which I don't really have an issue with that, but he wasn't a first round pick. Um, First time Pro Bowler, but he's gonna be 30 this year. I don't know. I don't know. It's also not like he made like just massive headlines last year when the Vikings signed him. Like I think he exceeded even our expectations too. So maybe the national media is sleeping on him somewhat like we were last year, but we also didn't know he was going to have two defensive touchdowns last year, and everybody saw that this year. So I still don't think that's much of an excuse, but that was really the only one that I had a true issue with. The other ones I can kind of see why these guys are kind of left as honorable mentions or lower on the rankings, but Bernard with the pass rush prowess, and then Van Ginkel being able to do everything. Um, I think Van Ginkel at least needs to be mentioned on the list, and then Bernard needs to be in the top 10. So that's really it for this show. Shorter show. Next week we'll start looking at training camp because rookies and quarterbacks report on Sunday the 20th. Kind of look at some guys, some position battles to look forward to, what we can expect from JJ McCarthy, and we'll just kind of go from there. Kind of really start getting some stuff to talk about next week, as opposed to these lists, which are fun and generate opinions from me and probably you and others. But yeah, we're finally football season's around the corner, and I think it's the best time of the year, and I can't wait. I can't wait to share that with you. So until next week, I'll see you. You guys have a good week.